We're going to spend some time now talking about independence, mutually exclusive, and complementary. And by going through this table here, we're just going to get a better understanding of what each of these things are. Okay, which of the following pairs of events are independent, mutually exclusive, and or complementary? All right, let's begin. It will rain tomorrow, and I throw two tails in a row. I want you to imagine for a second that you have a coin in front of you, and you're tossing it. And let's also imagine that it's raining outside. Does the rain outside impact your ability to throw two tails in a row? Absolutely not. One thing has absolutely no effect on the other, meaning they are independent. Are they mutually exclusive? Mutually exclusive means they can't both occur at the same time. So the question is, can it be raining outside and can you throw two tails in a row? You absolutely can, so they're not mutually exclusive. Both of these things can occur at the same time. Are they complementary? No, they are not. Because the complement of it will rain tomorrow is it will not rain tomorrow. So they're not complementary. The next one, it will rain tomorrow and it will not rain tomorrow. They are complementary because they cover the whole. The complement of it will rain tomorrow is it will not rain tomorrow. Are they mutually exclusive? Yes, they are. Remember, mutually exclusive means they can't both occur at the same time. So if it will rain tomorrow or it will not rain tomorrow, it can't do both at the same time. If you look outside your window right now, it's either raining or not raining. It's not doing both because that doesn't make any sense. All right, independent. This is not independent, and this is usually where people get a little bit confused. Independence means that one event has no effect on the other. But if it's raining, that's preventing it from not raining. So one is negating the other one. One is preventing the other one from occurring. So they're very much dependent upon each other. So think about it in those terms. So too for the next one. I throw a 1 on a dice and I throw a 2 on a dice. These are not independent because one thing is impacting the other. If I throw a 1 on a dice, I haven't thrown a 2. So it's impacted it. Are they mutually exclusive? Yes, because I can't throw both a 1 and a 2. That doesn't make any sense. If I've thrown a 1, I've thrown a 1. I haven't thrown a 2. Are they complementary? No, they are not complementary because the complement of throwing a 1 is not throwing a 1. So remember, the complement has to cover the entirety of the option. So either you throw a 1 or you don't throw a 1. There are options here that haven't been accounted for, so they're not complementary. All right, the last one. I throw a 6 on a dice and I throw an even number on a dice on the same throw. They're not complementary because the complement of throwing a 6 on a dice is throwing something other than a 6 on a dice. Are they mutually exclusive? No, they're not mutually exclusive because I could throw a 6 and I could also throw an even number because 6 is an even number. So both could occur at the same time. And they're also not independent as well. Explaining why this isn't independent is actually a little bit tricky in words, but we're going to go through an example later on, which will show you mathematically why these are not independent. So just wait for that. Okay, decide whether these statements are always, sometimes, or never true. So you might like to pause the video and give this a go. Okay, independent events are mutually exclusive. Let's stop and think about what each of these words is telling me, because going through these is a bit tricky because it's very wordy, I find. Independent events means that one thing does not affect the other thing. Mutually exclusive means both things can't occur at the same time. So when we came and we looked at this example for a moment, it will rain tomorrow and it will not rain tomorrow. These were mutually exclusive events. They both can't occur at the same time. But they're not independent events because one, it will rain tomorrow, is preventing the other thing from happening. And this is true for any independent events. Independent events are never mutually exclusive because independent is meaning that one thing is not affecting the other, when mutually exclusive means one thing happening is preventing the other thing from happening. So they're never both true at the same time. Very important to remember that. Okay, next. Complementary events are mutually exclusive. This is always true. Let's look at an example to help us with this one. Examples really help us here. Let's go back to the rain one. The rain one is really helping us here. It will rain tomorrow and it will not rain tomorrow. They're complementary They're complementary because it covers all the possible options. It will or it won't rain tomorrow. If you add those together, the probability is 1. You know what I mean? And they're mutually exclusive. They can't both occur at the same time. So that's always going to be true. Complementary events are always mutually exclusive. We come to the next one now. Mutually exclusive events are complementary. This is sometimes true. Let's use an example to help us out here. Let's look at this one. I throw a 1 on a dice and I throw a 2 on a dice. They're mutually exclusive. I can't do both at the same time. I can't throw a 1 at the same time of throwing a 2. So they're mutually exclusive, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's complementary because there are other options here that I haven't accounted for. The complement of throwing a 1 is not throwing a 1. So mutually exclusive events are complementary only sometimes. All right, last one. We're doing well. Independent events are complementary. Remember, independent means one thing doesn't affect the other. So independent means one thing doesn't affect the other. When complementary means that you're doing the opposite of the other thing. So for instance, if we come to an example here, it will rain or it will not rain. They're complements of each other. When you add together both of those possibilities, you get 1, so you get 100%. But they very much affect one another, don't they? It will rain tomorrow or will not rain tomorrow. One thing is preventing the other thing from occurring. So they're not independent. They're very much dependent on each other. So the explanation for this one is very similar to the explanation of that one. And again, it's never. Okay, before I move on from this, I always find this a particularly difficult part because it's very wordy. I don't want you to get too stressed out by it. We're going to talk more later on about what mutually exclusive is. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of examples of independence in which we're going through the maths of it. So the most important things is that you have a good idea of what's going on here and you can do the maths behind it, but don't get too freaked out if you kind of got lost in the wordiness of this part here. Hopefully everything I have said has made some sense.